Welcome to episode 7 of Full Brew. I'm Patrick Fulcher.
And I'm Mike Brewer.
And Mike, I am so excited about this episode today. It's a full packed episode. We have 3 guests on our program today.
That's amazing.
And we have a lot of videos. We're going to be revealing the winners of some of our video contests. So you want to stay tuned for the entire time today.
Exactly.
Because you might be the winner and you don't want to miss that.
I don't think we've ever had 3 guests.
I don't think we've ever had 3 guests.
That's fantastic.
Never.
You're in for a treat.
We're in for a treat.
Yeah.
But one of the things so the last episode that we did, Mike, we had outtakes.
Oh.
And it was such
Comedy gold.
I mean, people were laughing out loud on Yammer about some of the things that happened during our taping. And we're going to do that again today.
Back by popular
we have
demand.
a lot of different people on today's show that we're going to be able to highlight with some outtakes.
I love it.
Mike, a lot of stuff has been going on in Radco. It's the busy conference season, the travel season. So I know we recently won an award. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the award that Radco was honored with?
Yeah, as you remember, Georgia Fast 40 last year,
Yes.
Radco took first place
First
in the
place.
fastest growing company in Georgia.
Yes.
Right? And so we went back this year, and because we needed to share that first place spot with someone else,
course.
and whatever. So we came in 9th place this year. So we're still part of that fast growing company network.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
It makes me proud, Mike, to say that I am a part of one of the fastest growing companies in Georgia and in Atlanta.
That's right. That's right. It's a prestigious place to be, and it's absolutely delightful to be a part of a
It
company
really
like
is.
that.
So thanks to everybody who helped us get ready for, there was a lot of information we had to submit to be considered for that award. So thanks to everybody who was part of that. Also, too, Mike, as I said, it's the busy conference season right now. And I know you and I and about 15 others of our other team members got to attend the National Apartment Association Annual Conference.
That's right.
It's in San Diego, California.
The weather was terrible.
Flight. The weather was awful, terrible. 72, beautiful every day. Long flight to get there, but I think the conference was really good. There was, I think there was somewhere in the neighborhood of over 15,000 people that attended this conference. All of our multifamily friends.
I was blown away the micro session when they brought everyone together in one room.
Yeah.
It was just miles of chairs, and they had a confidence monitor.
Yes.
That was the size of Texas.
No, it was huge, and I was reading the guy. The guy was on the stage, and I was reading the confidence.
You didn't even watch him; you watched the monitor.
I know, it was so funny. But Mike Rowe, who, if you guys ever watched the Discovery Channel, Mike Rowe was the host of the show called Dirty Jobs, and it was the #1 show on the Discovery Channel for, I believe, about 9 years.
Yeah, it had a very long run.
Very long run. And Mike, what was one takeaway from Mike's talk that he gave that day that we could share with the people that are watching?
Aside from getting crummy tummy related to the story that he told about being down in the San Francisco sewers,
Yes.
right? The thing that resonated with me most was that Mike really has a heart for the service industry in our country, most specifically I'd call them thankless jobs that really are the jobs that, or the industries that really underpin the success of this nation, right? And the way that he gets down in the weeds with the people that do those jobs on a daily basis, and the way that comes across in the stories that he tells, and the way that it edifies the people that do it, I can't put it into words what it's like to see him talk with such enthusiasm about that piece of our world.
Absolutely. So his talk was amazing, and for me, Mike, I got to hear from Mark King, who is the former CEO of Adidas, the tennis shoe company.
Yeah.
And he was phenomenal. Probably the biggest takeaway for me is how he took a struggling sports brand who, Under Armour and Nike were kind of the #1 and #2, and quickly transformed that company into the number one in their category. And he did that by unleashing people's potential, giving people something to rally around and be excited about. And he was just hugely inspirational, and it was such a pleasure to meet him. I actually got to have my picture taken with him because I liked him so much. And just a really nice guy. And it was just great to hear about how when you give people inspiration and motivation, they can do amazing things.
Get them part of something bigger than self, in a sense.
Bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there were many, many other highlights from the conference, but it was a lot to take in. There's tons of new technologies out there, and
I think that was the buzzword of the conference.
yeah, so much to process. But I'm so glad that so many of our Radco leaders were able to attend that conference last week.
Definitely.
And then the week before that, Mike, Jessica Gordon, myself, Steve, and Daphne, and a few others were able to host our managers workshop out in Oklahoma for all of our Oklahoma team members. And it was just phenomenal, Mike. We have some of the most amazing team members on the planet.
I agree.
And I can only tell you that the core value of caring and came alive that Friday we spent in Oklahoma, going through a full day of just really immersion in our values and what our culture is about, and really Norman's vision of what he thought in his mind when he created this company.
You know what I think is so beautiful about that is that many times our out markets, not unlike our service team members, don't get the highlights, right?
Right.
And the fact that yourself and Jessica and the others that you mentioned take the time to get on an airplane, not only prior to that, put together a great program with great content, get on an airplane, travel out, and do a marathon training is just a huge testament to you and your team. And I think it really comes across.
It does, Mike, and it's so worth it to me because, boy, I get juiced up going to those things. And it reminds me every day that's why we exist.
That's right.
We exist to serve those that serve our residents.
That's
and so, Oklahoma, you are fantastic. We were so glad to spend 2 Fridays ago with you. And I know and understand more about why this company is so great. We have the most amazing people that work for us.
So Patrick, now I have an opportunity to introduce somebody that I think does a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes, acquiring all the property that we get to manage on our side of the business. So Matt Roos is going to come to us and talk about the marketplace today in terms of buying and selling property. I have the privilege now of speaking with another one of our Radco team members, somebody that is involved with nearly every single transaction that happens, that is buying properties for the portfolio and for the operations team to take care of. So Matt Roos is the Vice President of Investments, correct?
That's correct.
He works with Sean Kavanaugh as his counterpart, and they cover the entire country in terms of acquisitions. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's exciting to be here.
Yeah, definitely. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about what you do? I know it's much more than a title.
Sure, absolutely. So, Matt Roos, I'm the Vice President of Investments. My role is to cover the southeastern markets for acquisitions and dispositions as well. So my primary role is going to be finding and seeking out the properties that Radco is looking to buy within the southeastern markets, excluding Florida. My counterpart Sean actually covers that one. So that's going to involve traveling to different cities, touring different properties, making offers on properties, and then running through the entire due diligence process all the way through the closing of those assets.
Got it. And how long, just out of curiosity, have you been doing that for Radco?
Sure. So I've been with Radco about 5.5 years now. So when I actually started, I think I was maybe the 20th hire, and I got to experience the truly explosive growth that's gone on over the past 5 or 6 years. I believe we owned 6 or 7 assets at that time, and now we're something in the mid-50s, and gotten to experience a lot of different transactions, and that's been a very exciting role over the past few years. One of the themes that has been within Radco for the past 25 years since Norman started the company is an entrepreneurial spirit. As markets shift and the dynamics change, we're always trying to have the foresight and see where the opportunities are. So these days we actually spend a lot of our time trying to find those opportunities, and actually earlier this year we did find one of those, which was the opportunity to partner with a prominent developer from the Atlanta area to partner with them to develop a multifamily community within Augusta. This is the first time that we've done this within this cycle, and it represents an opportunity that there's certainly more of those out there, and we are seeking those out constantly. But it's a fantastic property that's going to provide housing for an underserved market within Augusta, and it's going to be something that we're going to be extremely proud to say that we are the owners of. So we're always trying to find those type of opportunities, and as the market continues to shift, I would expect us to be seeking out and hopefully executing on more and more of those type of opportunities and acquisitions.
That, it brings to mind for me the core value of flexible, in that, the market presents data. We look at that data and we use that data to inform our next business decision.
Sure.
And so from an acquisitions perspective, it's not just multifamily assets necessarily. It might be different businesses. Is that fair to say that you could, not maybe businesses within real estate, but businesses that we can look at?
Sure, absolutely. I believe that within the multifamily industry in particular, I think there's a lot of opportunities to seek out things within the technology world and things that have not been disrupted over this cycle as the value add platform has become more institutionalized, and that's exactly what's happened within Radco. So we've created a platform that's a very institutional and a best-in-class company here. So there's an opportunity to seek out some, whether it's technology-based or some other different things within the market that could truly disrupt and kind of shift those sort of things. So we're actually actively seeking that out as well.
That's fantastic. I want to take a second before we segue to the next section to acknowledge you. It's interesting. I moved to the other side of the office recently, and so I didn't have a lot of interaction with Matt prior to that moment in time. But you are a man on a mission. Every time that I see Matt, he is just head down, headed to exactly where he needs to get an answer from. He gets that answer, and he heads right back to doing what he's doing. So, but I want to acknowledge all the hard work and effort that you put forth, because I don't think that the entire Radco Nation sees that on a daily basis, you or Sean.
Sure.
We just see guys head down on cell phone making stuff happen, right? So we acknowledge you for that.
Sure.
We thank you for that and appreciate you taking time to stop by Full Brew.
Absolutely. No, we appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So, Mike, that was a great interview with Matt. It is so exciting to hear about some of the great new opportunities that Radco is pursuing that are different from some of the traditional things that we've done.
True statement. Yep. Exciting.
So, in continuing that same line of thinking, Mike, we have another guest with us, Sam Spitalny. Mm-hmm. Sam is one of our investment managers who is leading up the new acquisitions in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. And so we are so excited to have him here with us today. And so let's hear what Sam has to say. So one of the things we love about this program is we get to have guests on from all across the Radco companies. And today I have Sam Spitalny. Sam, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here. And Sam is one of our investment managers. And Sam, recently you were part of the acquisition process of the new Indianapolis portfolio. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that portfolio and some of the team members that are there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be very excited to. So the three new properties in Indianapolis are in the northwestern part of the Indianapolis. We're bringing on three new assets. It's going to be Creekside at Meridian Hills, Ashford at Meridian Hills, and Ashford Georgetown. Two of those property managers we were able to retain who have already been on site, and one manager we're bringing in newly to the Radco family. At Ashford Georgetown, we have Joanne. At Creekside at Meridian Hills, we have Will. And at Ashford Meridian Hills, we have Scott. And we are very excited to welcome the three of them and their newly fully staffed out teams to the Radco family.
So these properties really fit into our vision of building better living for the residents and our team members who are now, I think you told me we retained most of the team members that were already previously working at the properties.
Yep, we were able to retain most of the maintenance side talent, and like I said, two of the property managers will be joining us as well. So we're very excited to keep all those people, and then also very excited for the new hires that are able to join us.
Absolutely.
And some of those actually, as our new regional, Tasha has been in the market for so long, some of those are previous contacts of Tasha who reached out to her directly.
That's fantastic. So Sam, if you could tell our new team members watching in Indianapolis right now, they're watching us, what would you tell them?
I'd like to tell them that Radco cares, and that's actually one of our core values is Radco cares. because we truly do. We care about our people, about you, but also about our residents. We have 1,400 units in Indianapolis. That's 1,400 families, 1,400 real people that we care about and we serve every day. And we want to give you the resources to be able to serve those people the best you can and really change their lives.
Awesome. Well, Sam, thanks again for being here today. It was great to talk to you about this exciting opportunity in Indianapolis, and I think the team members are going to be seeing you this week again. So thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So Patrick, that was a wonderful interview with Sam.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Sam.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sam. I know that that is a huge undertaking in Indianapolis, taking on 3 properties at the same time, and we really appreciate your efforts.
Absolutely. And don't forget, Mike, all the other team that
Oh,
worked
yes.
so hard, all of our operational
Of
team,
course.
maintenance, so
It
many
takes a
people.
community.
It took an army of people
Yes, it did.
to take over those properties.
Most certainly. So now that we have the properties, I think it's important to actually measure what our expectations are, or measure what our intended business outcomes are.
Absolutely.
And so one of the things we've done, I think, let me back up. Historically, we've always looked at assets with sort of backwards looking metrics, right? So the financial statement gets published on the 15th of the month, 45 days after that, or 15 days rather, I forgot math. 15 days after those results have actually come through the books, right?
Right.
And so then we publish a financial statement, and then we put it out to the investors. And I think it's just, just as we have back indicators, we need forward-looking
Absolutely.
indicators. And so one of the things we're doing, and I have to thank Sharon and applaud Sharon, she's here in the room, for putting together a scoreboard of leading indicators. And really the way that I like to think about this is that there are 8 to 10 things that really drive our business. And boy, would it be great to see those things in a forward-looking
Sure.
perspective, so that if we get something that's coming off of the reservation, if a property is coming off the reservation, we can actually course correct
Sure.
based on those leading indicators, as opposed to course correcting 45 days after we get information,
Right.
right? So the real purpose behind the scoreboard is to get those 8 to 10 key performance indicators captured in a one-page document. Now that one-page document has backups so that you don't have to do a bunch of
Sure.
homework to see where those numbers came from. But we want to look at things like our monthly billing and collections. And I heard something at the conference that was very interesting. The thing that gets set in the upper left-hand corner is the thing that gets read and responded to the most.
Interesting.
So,
Yes. Makes sense.
Doesn't it? Like you read top left going right, so
Makes
wouldn't
sense.
it make sense that our key
Top
performance?
left.
Yeah. So from time to time, we might shift our scoreboard look around to make
Sure.
sure that that particular thing
Absolutely.
is in the prominent position. But we want to look at billings and collections. We want to look at revenue per unit and sort of the trend line for that. We want to look at our renters insurance participation, which I know has been down in some markets as of late, but it's important.
And we have a huge opportunity there, Mike, to fix
Huge.
that really quickly.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen some properties turn that around in 2 weeks
Oh,
or
yeah.
under 2 weeks
Like,
after you have
I
identified.
think really, really fast.
Yeah, most definitely. Inspection score. So Steve talked a little bit about HappyCo and how we're able to capture some of those metrics in HappyCo. So inspection scores would be a leading indicator for us to make change if need be. Occupancy and renewal. That's, traditionally we've tracked occupancy, but also renewal retention percentages that we'd have in there. Work orders over 48 hours as a leading indicator
Oh,
for
wow.
customer service.
Wow.
Yeah, so if we see that number start to creep up, we can actually respond or react quickly to get that back. So be it that, putting together a task force that goes out and helps the community get back on track.
Absolutely.
Customer satisfaction, we're gonna, Kingsley is part of the pay for performance model this year in the PFP. We don't want to just create a PFP and create a KPI and then say, oh, you're on your own.
Right.
We want to
Have
make
fun.
sure that exactly. We want to make sure that we're tracking that because, as you know, the PFP ladders all the way up to me, right?
Absolutely.
So it's as important to me as it is to you to get that score up. And so with the scoreboard, we can see a leading indicator for that. And then also, I think in our tight labor market, it's important to track our current job openings. That is a huge pain point for
It
our
really is.
industry as a whole, especially on the service sides and a little bit on the leasing side. So I want to make sure that we're tracking those current openings so that if we see that number creep up, we can put some things in place to get the number back
Absolutely.
down. So
Absolutely.
the purpose of the scoreboard is leading indicators that can allow us to bring things back onto the reservation if they happen to get off. So
And I think people want to know, Mike, how they're doing.
True.
I know that there's something innately inside us that wants to know how we're doing against an established goal.
True
So I
statement.
really feel like by this scorecard can really highlight those things that are most important. One of the things I thought about too, Mike, was the afterburners who came and spoke at our conference back in March. One of the things that they talked about was when they're in the cockpit, there's 135 different dials and gauges in
That's
that
right.
cockpit, but they really only look at 9 of them.
that's right.
That's only 9 of them that they're really concerned about. That's a lot. I can imagine being inside that small confined space and 135 different gauges, but they only look at 9 of them. So that really aligns with what you're talking about here. I don't know how many different measures we have out there.
Oh, no.
There's probably hundreds.
There are. I think every one of these leading indicators that we've identified, if you nuance them, you'd get 10 to 20 for each,
Sure,
right? Or 30
sure.
or 40, who
Sure.
knows? But at some point, you need to pay attention to those things that really move the business forward.
Right.
Not all those other things that are more static in nature that you can kind of set and adjust and tweak with less frequency. These things up here that really drive your business, you got to pay attention to on
Absolutely.
an ongoing basis.
Well, that sounds really exciting. So I know that's going to be coming really soon. We're still working on some of the logistics of pulling the data and those type of things, but that's exciting that it's coming.
True statement. Yep.
Absolutely.
Very fun.
Well, Mike, the Radco Voice, I want to talk about that. That is our team member engagement survey. And we just finished up that survey this week on Wednesday. And we will have those results very, very soon. And a lot of times, people probably wonder why are we doing this survey? And
Yeah.
it's because we really the name of the survey says it, is we want people to have a voice.
That's right.
We want people to tell us how we're doing. What can we do better? I think it's the things you say, Mike. What should we continue doing? What should we stop doing? And what should we do more of, right?
That's right.
Those are the things that are going to make a difference. So the Radco Voice really gives the team member a way to communicate that directly to us.
That's right.
And so we learned a lot when we did our last team member engagement survey, which caused us to react to some of those things in a very positive way. And so I want to talk about a couple of those, Mike. So from our last team member survey that we did, one of the things that we heard was that we are woefully deficient in the area of onboarding
Yeah.
team members.
It
right?
was the worst.
It was, out of everything else, it was number 1 ranked,
Correct.
right? So as a result of that, we said, you know what? We do. We really aren't doing a great
We own
job. We own it. It's we saw indicators in our turnover and other things that are happening at the property. So out of that, we created Intrigate, which is our brand new onboarding program for new Radco team members. That, Mike, I talked to lots of people at the conference. They were asking me, how are we doing this?
yeah.
Now we take people through 2 full days
Yeah,
of onboarding before they ever go to their real job at the property.
that's right.
The immersion in the culture, vision, values, mission, all of that of the company takes precedence over everything else.
That's right.
And I had continued to read the surveys that are coming back from people that have gone through Intrigate, and they're so positive. And I would like to say that our Indianapolis crew
Yeah.
that is watching today, they just went through Intrigate last week with Travis and Kyle. And I was reading those survey results, Mike, and it was just so exciting to see
Ripping.
how impactful that program is. So we also have all of our new Intrigate facilitators. They came to Atlanta this week
right?
to learn how to present Intrigate in all of our remote markets, because that is super important to our remote markets, Mike, that we give them the same information and they get the same experience
That's right.
that all of our team members here in Atlanta are getting. So those people are learning how to duplicate
That's right.
that same intricate experience in all of our Radco markets. So that's extremely exciting.
You know, it brings to mind that I really believe in my heart of hearts that businesses are set in place to serve the people that serve it. And this survey allows us the insights to inform decisions like Intrigate so that we can serve those people that actually then in turn serve the residents. So to
Exactly.
the extent that we do a great job of that, and that's collectively, that's all of us, that's not just you
Yes.
and me, that's everyone
Yes.
in this organization serving each other. To the extent we do that really, really well, that year the customer comes alive.
Absolutely. So thank you. I want to say a word of thanks to Jessica Gordon and to Travis, who worked really hard to pull and they built this from scratch, Mike.
That's right.
We didn't have a template to follow. They built this from scratch, and I sat through it the second time that we did it, and it is best in class, and it's exciting. So the Radco Voice was born out of you telling us that our onboarding was terrible.
Yeah.
And we are so excited to be able to launch this program nationwide in the next month. The other thing that we heard about, Mike, was our teams wanted more team building activities where we could get together and in the spirit of caring to serve our communities in greater ways. So one of the things that we're doing is with our corporate social responsibility programs is to create volunteering opportunities where we can reach beyond the four walls of just our community
That's right.
to the greater community.
That's right.
So we heard you, and those things are coming, and we've been working diligently to find partners that we can partner with across the country to continue to reach the greater communities with volunteering and a number of other things that are coming down the pike.
You know, and I think where that becomes really, really important over time, and I've seen it in this show, the Full Brew Show,
Yes.
is that to the extent that you and I get to know each other better and better and better, then this flow. right?
Exactly.
You can finish my sentence, I can finish yours.
Exactly.
And where that translates on site, when you're out for a week on vacation, and because you've spent so much time with your fellow team members, the business just keeps flowing, right? You can leave for vacation for a week, you don't have to worry, and the fellow team members just take over because you just
Exactly.
know what each other's going to do, predicated on core values and things
Core
of that nature.
values,
But you have
absolutely.
to spend time together to get that
And then,
connection.
exactly, and then of course our Thrive Wellness Program was
Mm-hmm.
definitely, that feedback was heard in the Radco Voice, and that was also a direct response to what our team members were saying we need more of,
Yeah.
and that program I think is just going to get better and better as we go along. So Mike, really, I just want to say thank you again to everybody who participated in the Radco Voice. Your voice does matter. We
does.
do care. And all of those things we say to say that we actually do listen and we
do.
take action. So we'll do the same thing with this round of results that come in. We'll sort of compile those and determine what those things are at the top of the list that people are saying that we need to focus on.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So our commitment to our team members, Mike, is that we are going to publish the results of that survey so that be totally transparent so that everybody can see exactly what came back as those top items that we need to work on.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, Mike, we have a third guest on our program today, 3.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And we have Steve DeCat with us today, and he's going to be talking about a lot of things, and you had a chance to interview Steve.
I did.
So let's take a look at what Steve had to say to us today.
So I have the great privilege of sitting down with Steve DeCat today, our Director of Facilities and Maintenance, and we're going to talk about all the fantastic things he has been up to in the last 8 months. 8 months, right?
8 months.
You have been a busy bee for the last 8 months. And you've been a guest on the show before, correct?
I think your very first guest.
That's right. And so all those things you talked about in the first episode, or at least the first guest episode of Full Brew, which I think was the second episode, you get to sort of talk about the way those things have manifested or come to be, right? So you announced them then, but I think it's exciting to hear about all the things that have come out of that conversation, that first conversation.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about a few of
Sure.
the things you've been up to?
Sure. In February of 2018, we rolled out the Safety Matters program, which kind of tag teams with the Amplify Ambassador program. But what it is, we have 23 safety ambassadors that present each month a safety topic that we provide to them. So some of those topics would be golf cart safety, pool safety, proper lifting techniques, proper ladder techniques, to name some of them. But it's a fantastic program, and what it does is it empowers our maintenance team to lead a meeting, kind of takes them out of their comfort zone and puts them up in front to kind of lead these topics, because it's not just to the maintenance, it's actually to our entire team.
So tell us some more about the stuff that you're doing out there. in the
Yeah,
field.
well, so we also just finished the shop setup contest, which is fantastic. Really what that is all of the maintenance teams, they put their shops together per the Radco way. So it's color coding, inventory, really just taking the shops and cleaning them up to get them to run efficiently. So, and there's multiple reasons for that.
Yeah, I was about to ask
Yeah.
you. Tell us why organization is important
Yeah.
in a
So,
shop.
so an organized shop that allows our teams to function efficiently, right? So they can run into the shop. They know exactly where everything is. If it's color coded, they know where to look, right? Instead of it being in a box on the ground where they have to look for it, it's actually in the place where it needs to be. And then on top of that, we institute a high-low inventory, and that allows our teams to make sure that they have all of the products that they need on the shop, right? So we don't have money just sitting there either. That's useless, right? So they can be guaranteed to have everything they need in the seasonality that those products are necessary.
That's right. Our vendors, it's just in time inventory, right? So to your
Yeah.
point, you don't have to have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of inventory sitting in
Yeah,
a shop when
exactly.
it can sit in someone else's
Exactly.
shop and you can order it when you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
You spoke earlier, not necessarily here live, but about the idea that team members float to different properties
Absolutely.
and why an organized shop is important
Sure.
in that respect.
Sure. So we have floaters that float around to help out our teams. This happens all the time. And the shop setup and the organized shops allows them to walk right in and just start. I mean, they don't have to figure out where things are. They don't have to ask questions. They run into the shop. They're set up the same. They can function efficiently and just get things done very quickly.
Just a matter of learning how the community might be organized in
Yeah.
terms of buildings. But for the
Yeah.
shop, you just
Yeah.
walk in, you know where things are, and
Right.
then you just go.
They grab a site map and they're off.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about some of the winners
Sure.
as it relates to that?
Sure. So we had, 6 winners in this contest, and each of these winners are going to get a lunch paid for them by the regional maintenance manager.
And not cooked by the regional maintenance manager.
Probably not the best
Probably
idea.
not. Okay.
No.
So
We'll go
I
with
really
purchase.
advocated for that, but Steve
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
not so much.
Maybe not. Yeah. I don't know. But
All right. Well,
yeah. All right, so we had 6 winners for this contest, and it was tough to judge these. They were
bet.
fantastic. But so the 6 winners are, in no specific order, we had Cobalt Springs out of South Carolina. We had City Chase out of Houston, Texas. And we had Belmar out of Denver, Colorado. We had Ashford Walk right here in Georgia. We had Lakeside at Winter Park in Florida. And last but not least, Bridges of Kennesaw right here in Georgia. And they did a fantastic job.
Yes, and we really want to extend our thanks to everybody that participated in
Absolutely.
the contest, especially to those winners. And I think it demonstrates sort of best practices out there too that we can harvest and put to work across the portfolio. So
Yeah.
anytime you run contests like this, we're going to see people who excel in these areas, so we can take
Yeah.
advantage of that as an
Yeah.
organization. So
Yeah.
So
Great job.
I know we're not done. You have more to talk about.
And then we have the Safety Matters Video Challenge winners, which, as I had mentioned too, these were phenomenal. The teams went over the top in getting these, produced and to us. It was amazing. It was amazing. As I mentioned, we had 22 entries.
That's a lot, right?
I thought it was fantastic.
That blows my
It was a
mind.
great turnout. Okay, so we had 4 winners and a runner-up for our safety challenge,
Nice.
and it was fantastic. The 4 winners get a $100 gift card that they can use, for anything they'd like, team lunch, team dinner, and then our runner-up gets a $25 gift card.
Right on.
All right.
Right on.
So let's take a look at these videos. In our first winner is Ashford Overlook out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was a perfect example of do's and don'ts.
That's awesome.
Loved it. All right, our next winner is Ashford Walk out of Georgia.
The following video was made and produced by Ashford Walk. No one was injured during the making of the film. Golf cart safety is the first topic.
The wrong way.
Take this time to discuss with your team what's wrong with this.
The Radco way.
When using the golf cart, make sure all are seated correctly. Compactor safety is the next topic.
The wrong way.
Use this time to talk with your team what's wrong with this.
The Radco way.
Use a nice long stick object to run your compactor.
The last topic of this video is ladder safety.
The wrong way.
When trying to reach high up objects, make sure that the ladder is on a nice stable position, not like such.
The Radco way.
The right way of using the ladder is making sure it's nice and stable on steady ground.
This concludes the video. Thank you for watching.
You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? Okay.
With the wrong way and the Radco way. That was fantastic. And then we have Sunstone Palms out of Florida.
Hi, I'm Diana, and this is my friend Lily. We are from Sunstone Palms, and today we're going to show you how to pick up a package and how to not pick up a package. Hi, I'm Vanity. I'm from Sunstone Palms, and this is Louis. We're going to show you the correct way to climbing a ladder. Oh my God, you saved my life.
Don't worry, Valerie. I show you how you want to do. Okay?
Okay.
1, 2. That's it. Don't go on the top. Make it get doggy. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Sean Jensen. This is Hector. We're going to show you how to do it the wrong way of driving a golf cart.
Give me your phone.
That's how we do it around here. That's how we do Sunstone.
Oh my God. Move out the way. What? Thank you.
All right.
Right on.
The incorrect in the correct way. Great job.
Love it.
And we have Ashford Indian Trail out of Georgia.
This is the incorrect way to lift a box. This is the correct way to lift a box. This is the incorrect way to drive a golf cart on the property. This is the correct way to drive a golf cart on the property. Feet and hands inside, and always be aware of your surroundings.
Another fantastic video on lifting, golf cart safety, and a couple other do's and don'ts in there. And then our honorable mention, Ashford 6860.
Hello, Radco. This is your team, Ashford 6860. We're going to show you the proper way of how to lift a box safely. Kenny is going to go through everything, all the steps, and here you go.
Hello, Radco. This is the proper way of lifting. First, you bend down with your knees. Get a hold of the box. You keep your chest out, stomach in, head up, and you lift with your knees, keeping the box close to your body. And then you proceed.
Once again, an awesome video on proper lifting techniques. Great job to everyone.
Absolutely, yeah. There is a tremendous amount of talent out there in the marketplace.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so we've talked a lot about what you've been able to accomplish in the last 8 months, which has been a lot, and not without the help of a tremendous regional
Absolutely.
maintenance manager team.
Absolutely.
The maintenance supervisors, and obviously the property managers. Everybody across the enterprise has really helped out.
Unbelievable
in
people.
in this effort. Yeah,
Yes.
it's fantastic. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for the leadership and architecting that. But I'd also like to talk about, I have to imagine that you are forward-looking at some things that we will get done in calendar year 2018 and maybe into 2019. Are
Yeah.
you comfortable talking about maybe a few of those
Absolutely.
things?
We have a
Okay.
couple of really exciting things on the horizon. So
Excite us.
yes, right now we're about to roll out a couple of test sites with Yardy Mobile Maintenance, that's going to be fantastic. Yardy Mobile Maintenance is great. Really, it will take the whole paper side of the service request out of there. Everything
So
will
no
come.
more paper.
No more paper. No more. Yeah,
I love that.
The work orders come right to the device, whether it's a phone, an iPad, whatever that may be. The supervisor kind of assigns that work order out. The tech gets it. He goes to do the work, and then he signs it complete. The email instantaneously goes out to the resident. Yardy's updated with the time in, time out. It's a perfect scenario.
Well, that sounds fantastic.
Yep.
What about Happy? I know we've rolled
Yes.
out a piece of
Yes.
Happy, but
Yes.
Happy is much more
Yes.
dynamic.
HappyCo is fantastic. We started kind of on the due diligence side with that, and it's kind of proven to be a great tool for the acquisitions. We've also rolled that into, for my team, the regional maintenance managers are using it for their quarterly audits, and it's fantastic. It allows us to really kind of utilize the time. It's once again all paperless, but we can analyze all of the different scenarios in there, whether it's life safety, we can look at the metrics across the portfolio. We can really kind of dial into what are the things we may be missing, what are we doing great. It really allows us to kind of track everything that's happening at the properties through those audits. So, and then we're going to be pushing that out a little further. The regional managers now, they're starting very soon with their quarterly audits, and then eventually, hopefully very soon for the end of the year, we'll be rolling this out to the teams. So the make-ready checklists,
Exactly.
Preventative maintenance, pool logs, anything that we have logs or sheets for, we'll be able to put into Happy. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Steve, I want to take just a second to acknowledge you and all the things that you do for this organization. It's been
thank you.
An incredible breath of fresh air, what you've done for this department, what you've done for the company as a whole. I think your enthusiasm is infectious, right? People mimicking you out there in the field. You know something is really resonating with someone when they start to copy what you're doing or they start to say what you're saying. And so
thank you.
I think you've done a tremendous job of that, and I really want to thank you for that on behalf of the entire Radco Nation. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Radco's a great company. Love being here. Great people.
Definitely. Love having you.
Safety matters at Radco.
I love it. That's awesome.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
All right.
So, Mike, that was so cool to see all of those videos and the awards. We have some really talented Radco team members out there.
We do, yeah. At every level.
At
That's
every
fantastic.
level, and it was so exciting, and they're going to be getting some cool prizes. And thanks again, Steve, for joining us today. It was, I think it just makes the show so much better, Michael. We have different voices. I know people don't want to just hear you and I talking. all
No,
the
that's
time.
for sure.
Thank you guys for being with us again today. Thanks to Steve, Sam, and Matt for being with us and being our guests and sharing information about what's going on in their worlds. Any last word, Mike, before we leave today?
No, I think I would just sum it up by suggesting that building better living is alive and well at Radco, and glad to be a part of it.
It is. It is. Building better living. And thank you guys for being with us today. And we'll see you next month.
Bye now.
Absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
To get some education.
Absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
Easy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's the number back
Absolutely.
down. So
Absolutely.
on an ongoing.
Absolutely.
Very fun.
Absolutely. 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 Why don't you tell us about a recent award that we won?
I will. If,
Can we go back?
Georgia Fast 40.
Giving people something to be excited about, giving people to some, sorry, of the program, and what's it all about?
That didn't go right along my line of thought.
Well, and Brian Gershwitz talked about
Oh,
last month's
yeah.
program.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry. It seems like hours ago we talked about this.
Years.
Balance sheet, you're building your 401k, you're building your NOI, you're building all these sorts of things. That sounds terrible. I'm getting off track. A look at the education. Confidence by Thrive kept coming to my head that I need to say that.
Well, Mike, we are oh, sorry. I
Yes, we
totally
are.
lost my train of thought. Sam's.
Sam's Wall.
Sinkovich.
Sinkovich. Sam Sinkovich.
It wouldn't be a full
Can say
episode
that
without
Yeah,
Sinkovich.
yeah. Okay. So let's hear what Matt has up.
Let's hear what Matt has to say about Indiana.
Oh, I was doing
Matt?
good too. I was doing good.
You were doing awesome.
Ruined it.
I was ready for a standing O.
Yeah.
So Patrick, that was a wonderful interview with. So Patrick, that was wonderful. Do it again.
Okay.
So Patrick.
Take 837.
Oh. Take 1 million for.
Local
Okay.
YouTubers.
What time is it?
It's like 10 o'clock at night. at this
All right.
point. Well, Mike, it's been a fantastic. Oh.
It has been fantastic, but you haven't tossed it.
I have the privilege now to talk about.
The acquisition process. I don't know if this is true.
Make it up. Millions of people won't matter.
What does that mean?
Gotta look at the camera.
All right, so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So,
I'm never going to get through this. Then we had Ashford Indian Trails.
go ahead.